Come on in, everybody. Join us here. Do you go on? Oh, okay, there we go. Perfect. All right. There was a slight glitch, but I got it now. We are live everywhere. Beautiful. Oh, let me move this. How's that? You are not always hungry for food. This is going to be a good one. And this is something that I want to talk with you all about today as part of this live, because so many people have eating habit problems. And oops, hold on, I'm still getting there. A lot of people think they have a food problem when what they really have is a disconnection problem. That is the new opportunity that I want to share with you, and I want people to see, because most people, they've been taught to deal with weight loss by focusing almost entirely on the food aspect, right? What to eat, what not to eat, how much, when, what plan, what rules, what restrictions, what discipline, what structure, what cutoff, what reset, what starting over they need. And yes, of course, food matters. I'm not going to deny that. But if a person feels disconnected inside, they are very often going to keep reaching for something outside. And for many people, food becomes one of those places. Not always because they're physically hungry, not always because they don't know what to do, not always because they need, one more list of good foods and bad foods, but because food is doing something for them emotionally. It comforts, it soothes, it distracts, it rewards, it fills, it numbs, it softens the edge for a minute. It gives them something to look forward to. It gives them relief. That is very different conversation. Hi, Diane, Gavino, Susu, thank you for being here. So the opportunity is not how do I become stricter with food? It's how do I stop asking food to solve an inside feeling that it was never meant to solve, right? That's a great opportunity. And it's going to get you from where you are to where you want to be in a much more effective way. Because when people start seeing the issue that way, they stop attacking themselves the same way. And the big domino is right here. If the real issue is deeper than food, then more control alone will not create lasting change. But when you start changing the inner patterns driving the reach, real weight loss and wellness change becomes much more possible and much more sustainable. And that's the belief. And once somebody really gets that, your framework can then make sense, because now they understand why another food plan may not be enough. I care so much about this, not only because I've experienced it myself, but I've seen so many smart, capable, disciplined people struggle around food and their body for years. And that tells me something, right? It tells me this is not just an information problem, because if information were enough, so many people, um, they would already be free. And if you know somebody who has been struggling with weight and they keep trying different foods and different food plans, be sure to share this live and invite them, because I want them to have the same light bulb moment that I'm going to help you to have, right? Because the information is not the problem. A lot of people know what they should eat. They know what the healthier choices are. They know the plan. They know the basics. They know what they should be doing, yet they find themselves reaching and putting it in that mouth, right? Why? Because the reach is doing something. It is helping them not to feel something. It's giving quick comfort. It's filling space. It's creating relief. It's soothing a discomfort. And that's an epiphany. And I think so many people have spent years blaming themselves. Like the whole problem is lack of discipline. When the deeper truth is that food has been playing a role much bigger than fuel. But that's the only role it should be playing is fuel and hopefully, a higher grade fuel. And that matters because when people when someone sees that, they stop asking the wrong question. So instead of why can't I get it together, the question becomes, what is food doing for me right now? What am I actually reaching for? What am I trying to fill or soothe or quiet or escape? And that's a much wiser question. So I want to share with you some secrets today. And the first one is related to some of the false beliefs relate on how do I get to my ideal weight? How do I get to a point where my body is healthier and stronger and all of that stuff? And so there's a vehicle that you've been attempting to use, everything you've been trying to get you from where you are now to where you'd like to be. And so the first false belief that I want to address with you is related to that vehicle, right? Most people believe the answer is more food control. So they think, I need to tighten up. I need to be stricter. I need more willpower. I need better rules. I need to cut more things out. I need to push harder. I need to stop being so weak. I need to white knuckle this. That's the old vehicle. And for so many people, that vehicle leads to the same cycle over and over and over again. Because you can control behavior for a while without changing the pattern underneath it. You can override yourself for a little while. You can stay on plan for a little while. You can use pressure for a little while. But if food is still being used to solve an inside feeling, then the pattern stays alive underneath all the rules. That's why rebounds happen. That's why all or nothing happens. That's why people say, I was doing so good and then I blew it. That's why people keep restarting. The real vehicle is not just tighter food control. The real vehicle is changing the relationship. Just that guy over there. I don't think you know this, right? Andrea, welcome. So the real vehicle, Gregor, thank you for coming. The real vehicle is changing that relationship, changing the thoughts, the beliefs, the emotional pattern, the self-attack, changing what food has been doing for you or what you thought it would do for you. Changing the inner state that keeps sending you outward for relief. And that is why my work in this area is not just a food program or a willpower program. It's a mental training and subconscious reprogramming system because the deeper issue is often not just on the plate. It is in the pattern. And the second secret that I want to share with you is related to some of these false internal beliefs that you have had about yourself. This is where people make it about who they are. They think things like, I have no discipline. I always sabotage myself. I'm weak around food. I can't trust myself. I can't do good for a while and then I can do good for a while and then I ruin it. I just don't have what it takes. And I really want you to hear this. What if you were not weak? What if you have a pattern? right? That's different. A pattern of reaching, it's like a habit, right? A habit, a pattern, a pattern of soothing yourself with food, a pattern of disconnecting and then going to food, a pattern of using food as quick comfort, a pattern of pressure, slip, guilt, restart, a pattern of self attack, a pattern of asking behavior to solve what is actually deeper. That's good news because habits and patterns can be changed. Welcome, Alyssa. Thanks for joining us. And that's the good news. Habits can be changed, patterns can be changed. That's exactly why my framework matters, because I do not want people spending their whole lives at war with themselves around food. I want them to understand what is happening, why it keeps happening, what thoughts and feelings are driving it, how to stop attacking themselves, how to build self trust, how to recover differently, how to retrain the deeper system underneath the behavior. And that is a totally different approach. So, no, this is not just for other people, right? This is not just for naturally disciplined people. This is not just for people who never struggle emotionally, because you can change patterns, right? And then, secret number 3 that I want to share with you today is related to your external beliefs, those things when you point out there. This is where people say, I could do better if life were less stressful. Like if that thing out there was less stressful, if my family didn't eat this way, if I had more time, if I weren't traveling, if my partner were more supportive, if I weren't so busy, if it wasn't the holidays, if I were in a different season of life. And yes, those things absolutely do matter. They can absolutely make things harder. But if your healing depends on life becoming easy, you stay stuck, right? Because life is not going to remove every trigger, every curveball. There will always be emotions. There will always be stress. There will always be seasons. There will always be social situations. There will always be reasons to reach. So the opportunity is not waiting for life to become perfect. The opportunity is learning how to stop using food as the automatic answer when life feels hard. And that's freedom. Okay. Not perfect circumstances, a different relationship. So let me give you something practical. All right. Welcome, Pierre. The next time you want to reach for food, pause and ask, what am I actually hungry for right now? What am I actually hungry for right now? Not what am I craving? Not what do I want? Not what am I what didn't I eat today? What haven't I had? What do I deserve? Right? Not any of those things. I want you to ask yourself, what am I actually hungry for? Relief, comfort, reward, a break, numbing, connection, rest, something to look forward to. And then ask, will food truly give me that? Or am I asking it too much? Right? The question alone can be very powerful. And then come back to your body, right? Hand on your chest, slower exhale, relax the jaw, pause for 10 seconds, feel your feet, right? Not because that's the whole system, but because it interrupts the autopilot. So now, if this is resonating with you, then you probably already knew and know your struggle is not just about food. You probably know it's about what food has been doing for you, what role it has been playing, what you have been reaching for through it, what patterns keep repeating underneath the behavior. And that is exactly why I created what I created in this area, because I wanted something deeper than another diet lecture, right? I wanted something deeper than another food rule, or deeper than shame and deeper than willpower. So here's the path. I do have a free web class where I teach more about real inner patterns behind weight loss struggle and why people keep repeating the same cycles, and why real change happens better when you change the inside relationship instead of controlling or attempting to control the outside behavior. And then for people who want the full system, I have my online courses, my products and services. They're built on the mental training framework that I personally developed. So inside the work, we go into thought patterns, belief patterns, habit loops, self-trust, recovery after disruption, stopping self-attack, changing the emotional relationship with food, creating a calmer inner state, and using subconscious support to change habits and patterns through a hypnosis meditation. And that matters because a lot of people do not need one more rule. They need a framework, awareness, mental training, subconscious support, recovery tools, and a new way of relating to themselves. And that's the stack. So if this speaks to you, if it's speaking to you, I would suggest that you start with my free web class. You just go to dawngrant.com and you can find the landing page related to weight loss and wellness. You can come learn the framework, see your pattern differently. And if it resonates, takes the next step into the deeper course, the products, the services that can actually help you change it. Because you're not always hungry for food. Sometimes you're hungry for relief, comfort, peace, reconnection. When you stop looking in the wrong place, real change can actually begin. So go register for my free web class. Check out all the products and services, the online course, the hypnosis downloads that I have for you at dawngrant.com. And again, just go to start here and the drop down for weight loss and wellness, because I would love to help you with this. And I'll see you in the next live. Adios. Adios, adios. See you in the next live. I'll just connect everything. Let's see.